Hey there, my name is Alex. I am the Silver Mont. Tell me your favourite Elden Ring builds down in the comments. Why? Because I'm going to tell you mine in this video. My first Elden Ring character is still one of my favourite builds. The Spellblade or Red Mage style character. This is a high int build with any spare points going into dex. As with all the builds featured in this video, it isn't specifically aiming for a level range. Those were usually for PvP back in the day. People enjoyed soul level 120 PvP in the first Dark Souls, for example. Even if soul level 70 was way better, and I will fight you over that. But I'll also point out that none of these builds are PvP oriented, although I'll mention PvP if it comes up. So, first build, int first, then dex. The Great Epee, PP, is my favourite weapon for this build, using either the Carrion Grandeur or Carrion Sovereignty weapon art if you have the expansion. Not only does it fit the theme, but it gives you an extremely powerful option for enemies, and the faster version is a nice vertical attack, the one thing the Epee lacks, because sometimes it has issues hitting enemies on the floor. As for spells, well, you can mix it up of course, because you're going to be having like 60 or 70 int, but I always bring several spells, including Swift Glintstone Shard. Not only is this efficient for resources, it's one of the main tools I'll use if invaded on this character. Super fast, can be used when jumping, it's nice for catching those invaders who get once and then go ooh and start running away, you know the type. Good for pressure. Damage is nothing special, it's mostly, it's for utility. This hasn't left my spell bar since the game came out and I first got it. Next up is another spell that's rarely left my spell bars. Shard Spiral. If there's a boss who isn't all that safe to approach, Shard Spiral is an amazing spell to spam against them. Even better if they are big, huge, fat. It tracks, it hits multiple times and it can be spammed and charged up. Also can be weaved between Swift Glintstone Shards against invaders if you want to mix it up a bit. Next up is Loretta's Great Bow. I use this for long range pulls and, to kill an enemy that's very far away, because it looks cool. I never use Loretta's Mastery, because I don't like that one. Then there's Cannon of Hymer, great for AoE, and also great for hitting invaders who are, hiding behind a wall, because you can charge it up, bang, and they'll explode and be like, how have you done this? This is outrageous. You probably noticed so far that I prefer the light blue school of magic, as I try to keep roughly to a theme of carrying stuff. I'll also bring Scholar's Armament or Scholar's Shield, depending on what I need, usually the former. The last spell I always bring as of the expansion, Starlight. With the regenerating FP amulet added in the expansion, this spell is never leaving my bars. Lasts a long time, basically costs nothing, it's nice, just added light. As for shield and armour, well, you can see what armour I'm using, and for shield, I like any silver shield, but the Carrion Thrusting Shield fits the theme of this character and is really damn good too. Overall, this character is one I've used almost exclusively in co-op, and it makes a good ranged support whilst also having some decent melee options as well. Slots nicely into a team, although you don't have any healing options, but still very nice for support. What about a solo character? Well, here we have Silver Lord, my Let's Play character. Solo only for the most part with very few exceptions, all offline, so I didn't really take any care to have precautions against invaders. This is a quality build, a weapon master who has high strength and high dex, can use just about everything. My favourite loadout is to bring a Great Shield with the Cross Naginata for standard enemies, the Great Katana with Giant Hunt for elite enemies, and sometimes the My Lady for human jewels like NPC invaders and stuff. Then we also have Radahn's Great Bow, because this character is a Radahn fan, for ranged options. I took the Eclipse Great Shield just because it looked cool. There's definitely better options out there, but I just like this one. That one or the Cuckoo Great Shield. The Cross Naginata can poke from behind it, which makes a very safe playstyle. It can bleed too. Despite the nerfs, I still love to use Flame of the Redmanes, as it's just one of the coolest weapon arts. And the spread on it makes it very useful in a lot of different scenarios, especially like when you get swarmed by lots of small enemies and you can just shotgun them. Overall, I found this build pretty good throughout the whole game, but I did run into trouble now and then, when coming up against enemies who just didn't really mesh with my chosen weapons. It isn't very good against invaders who use a lot of tricks, but the weapons aren't bad in PvP. The Naginata in particular is pretty good, I think. It's a simple build, but it gets the job done. Finally, after interdex and quality, we have Faith Strength, and kind of Faith Int. This is my seamless co-op character who I have respec'd many times, but always kept the same general theme of Faith Strength. PvP wasn't a factor at all when making this character, but if you played Seamless, you know that, at least in the past, bosses used to have insane amounts of health. So initially I made this character all about percentage damage. That meant he was a Black Flame aficionado. Faith is amazing in Elden Ring because incantations are just ridiculous. They can do statuses, they can do damage, they can heal, they can prevent statuses, there isn't anything they can't do, frankly, apart from, well, Starlight. A recent update for Seamless allowed you to adjust boss scaling. In other words, when a player joins your game, a boss gets, say, 100% more health. Now, in Seamless, you can configure that to make it so they have, 50%, 100%, 200%, 20%, whatever you want. So my friends and I have used that to lower it from the default, whatever that was in Seamless, to something more like 25% more health per player. In other words, we adjusted it so not every boss has a million health. Since doing that, I've adjusted this character to use less percent damage and just more incantations that I always wanted to use, even if they aren't that good. You know, Radagon's Rings of Light, for example. Awesome spell, not really very good. It has a very high cost, it's slow, and even the damage isn't that great. There's also Discus of Light, which is actually really good for managing your FP. It's not really, it's no Swift Glintstone Shard, but it's about the nearest that Faith gets to that. And then of course, another new incantation, Multi-Layered Rings of Light. So cool, I love those, like, Rings of Light spells. So I guess he leaned a bit more in the direction of a, Golden Order Fundamentalist, after Black Flame. I use many weapons on this character, but these days I rock the Tree Spear on him just because it looks cool. If it didn't look so stupid, I would absolutely use Siluria's Tree for the moveset. But in other words, this is the character I use when I don't really need to worry about the characters having a good build, because, I don't need to worry about invaders or whatever. Sure, you can beat the game with anything. This is just a character where I bring things I know aren't really that strong, because they're cool though. Back when he was a Black Flame percent damage character, it was all Black Flame miracles with the Godslayer's Greatsword, and of course Destined Death from Malekith's miracle for extra percent burn. Well, those are my 3 favourite builds and characters at any rate. I suppose maybe more like 4 with the last one, but what about you? Let me know down in the comments, and until next time, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.